Racism is incredibly stupid, lame, and cringe, and the perfect example of that is this. Goofy punching bag racist Jan 6er insurrectionist Jake Lang, who just got the beats put on him at the BET Awards. Donning blackface in the most unfunny, attention-seeking way possible.
I got that white bitch. For 400 years of slavery, I got that white bitch.
To try to get some get back against Druski for Erika Kirk. This man really got them folks mad.
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God.
But I'm Jude, welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
White people, man, they're pretty fucking girls, man, that they take their 400 fucking years. Donald Trump, fucking Democrat, Republican. I don't know what to do, man.
We're 12 seconds in and this is already trash. It's such low quality, low effort, unrelatable trash. I guess it's how racists think black people are. Black people in our heads are not sitting around stressing out about Donald Trump, Democrat, Republican, definitely not thinking about white people. That's not something black people do. I don't really know a better way to explain this than the clip I always use.
Black people do not think about white people at all. And I know that's probably hard for you guys to comprehend because you think about us so much. Our lives do not revolve around what white people are doing, what white people are saying. We do not talk about you guys when you're not in the room. We don't talk about you even when you are in the room unless you do something. Half of the commentary you see from black people, including myself, that is online, comes in response to you guys doing or saying some crazy shit.
Like wearing blackface, trying to get back at Druski for some imaginary perceived slight. We was actually making fun of a really crazy situation. But when I say black people do not think about or talk about white people in a good or bad way, it's just not a thing that happens. But we are not sitting around stressed out mulling over white people, which is not.
You white people, man. That's what I'm fucking gonna do, man. I don't want to hold this earth down. Slavery. They're gonna save my people.
He said, I'm gonna save my people? We're only 24 seconds in and this is already taking forever. I also have to point out just the low quality effort of the makeup. Just everything is trash. There's no effort, creativity, or energy about this. This is so revealing that this is what racists think, and this is what racists pass for offense to us and comedy, or I guess trying to be funny. He's basically playing the character out of the old Planet of the Apes movie. That's not us. That has nothing to do with us. That's not how any black people act. Therefore, this is so unrelatable, unfunny, lame, and it's just not even entertaining. I mean, it's entertaining because of how bad it is. But whereas Druski's skit was actually funny and entertaining and relatable because it's real life things that happened with barely any exaggeration, this is just corny.
Man, why don't no white bitches ever talk to me, man? I can't fucking stand these white people. Think they're better than the years of slavery. Fucking slavery. I'm gonna get that white bitch.
Okay, so I guess he just turned the blackface skit where he was supposed to be trying to get back at Druski for the Erika Kirk skit into trauma porn, because now he's talking about the stabbing of the Ukrainian refugee that happened in Charlotte last year, which had nothing to do with race. It was a homeless black man with mental issues that committed that crime, which nobody was cheerleading, nobody was happy about, nobody was celebrating. The girl's name was Irina. She was a Ukrainian refugee sitting on the bus minding her business. And this guy, Carlos Brown, that committed that crime had a long criminal record, was down on his luck, was homeless, he was struggling mentally, couldn't have conversations, was aggressive with his own family, attacked his sister, tried to break in her door. The dude had real life issues and really should have been getting some help mentally. It had nothing to do with race. He wasn't sitting there pondering Democrats, Republicans, stressing out about white people, any of that. He was just off his rocker. So on top of everything that Jake Lang is already doing, being unfunny, uncreative, lame, he's also race baiting now and trying to get racists on his side if they weren't already on his side with this stupid ass skit by going to this situation and trying to tie it back to the political climate where it had nothing to do with that.
I'm fucking tired of these white men. I'm gonna get that white bitch. I'm gonna get that white girl. I'm gonna get this white bitch. Die, white bitch. I got that white bitch. For 400 years of slavery, I got that white bitch.
What the fuck? That took a crazy, unexpected nonsense turn. This is why I say racism doesn't make sense. And racist people really need to check into a mental facility because there's something wrong with them. The whole reason Druski's skit was so funny is because it was barely any exaggeration. He put on makeup and played Erika Kirk. All the fake outrage, the fake cries, the don't apologize for being a white mailman, all of the theatrics that she does, he put in one little skit looking exactly like her in his own way, which is even funnier. And it was hilarious. It wasn't race baity, it wasn't cringe, it wasn't anything other than making fun of something that actually happened, which these people are still in absolute shambles about months later.
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers, especially all white men in America.
And we knew eventually one of these doofuses were going to try to bring back blackface and get back at Druski and get revenge for Erika Kirk. And it would be as unfunny and corny as what Jake Lang actually did, even though Jake Lang's is way worse than I could have ever imagined. But we already knew it because of how butthurt they all were, like when Jake Paul was talking about trying it.
And even though it's fucking dark and twisted,
nothing was dark and twisted about making crazy eyes at the screen like Erika Kirk did. Matter of fact, crazy eyes.
I've been, over the last couple of days, calling makeup artists, and I was gonna do a response to this and like go and do like the full on
darker?
Yeah.
Darker as in black? As in blackface? I've talked about blackface before, the racism behind it, the purpose of it, which is to propagate negative stereotypes about black people, which is pushed through the media till this day. The reason why blackface has been so historically offensive to black people is because it was used by white people to propagate narratives against black people in film and television, to make us look bad, to make us look dumb, to make us look dangerous or greedy. So when you see blackface, you know it is somebody that does not like black people, that are portraying black people in a negative way.
Minstrel shows began in the 1830s, and white performers used burnt cork or later black grease paint
for the purpose of playing idiots and enslaved people. At one point, it was one of the most popular forms of entertainment and kept going from the mid-1800s all the way to the 1970s.
But I really think one of the funniest comparisons between the skits is the numbers and the response. Where Druski's skit about conservative women, Erika Kirk, went mega viral, the whole world was talking about it. This thing has 133 million views just on X. And then this thing has 66, almost 67 million views on Instagram. Meanwhile, Jake Lang's tweet about this is direct, capital letters, direct payback for Druski going whiteface on widow Erika Kirk. His own tweet about this has only garnered 97,000 views, less than 100,000 views. At the same time, for Druski's skit, he already had 100 million views. When I say nobody cares about this, it did not get the response he wanted. It probably won't even leave his echo chamber of racists cheerleading this dumb shit on. I have no clue how he thought he would offend black people with this. He didn't at all. Jake made white trauma porn. Facts. They are so unfunny that it's funny. That's literally the reaction I was having. It was so bad that I had to laugh at how bad it was. Like, what are we doing here? They're truly sick. Racists think this is satire. Druski is a satirist. Jake Lang is posting violent racist media because it's in his DNA. Devil. Facts. And then his tweet was from one of his MAGA racist cheerleaders. Wow, Jake Lang goes full blackface and reenacts the murder of Arena. Direct retaliation for Druski's making fun of Erika Kirk. Jake makes a point. What is the point that Jake made? He fake dressed up as Druski with poor makeup on, acted like an ape, and reenacted a murder that had nothing to do with Erika Kirk or the Druski skit, other than it was a white person and a black person involved, so they could further race bait and try to hype up their side for a race war that's never gonna happen. What are we talking about here? The reaction that he got is exactly the reaction that he deserves. Nothing. Nobody cares. This makes no cultural impact. Nobody is gonna be talking about it besides me in this one video. And that's just for us to laugh at him because it is so embarrassingly lame. But shout out to Druski for hitting these people where it hurts, that they are still crashing out months later over a skit that was accurate. That's all it was. Jake Lang is a loser. He's really a perfect example of what racists are today. Obsessed over black people and desperate for our attention and to try to paint us in a bad light. But all they ever do is make themselves look crazy. Not to mention his reaction to Druski's skit months ago makes Druski's skit even more funny now. But shout out to my channel and Patreon members. Thank you so much for supporting and thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.